Welcome to Share Views, where the man of the moment is Daniel Betts, CEO at Hummingbird Resources. The epic code there is HUM. And just for those who do not know, I can't believe anybody doesn't know what your company does, but it is a West African-focused gold explorer and developer with two core projects, gold projects, the near-term production Yanfolila Gold Project in Mali and the Dugbe Gold Project in Liberia. So welcome to Share Views, Daniel. Could you just run us through the two projects? What's going on there at the moment?
Thanks, Zach. Thanks for having me. The two projects, as you say, are in Liberia and Mali. Our focus at the moment is developing the project in Mali, which is a high-margin, in-construction gold mine. It will produce 130,000 ounces a year from the end of next year, and construction is well underway. The project in Liberia is a much larger scale project, 4 million ounce deposit, and we're currently just evaluating ways to unlock that value and take the project forward. But predominantly our bandwidth at the moment is all on developing Yanfolila.
Okay, right. Well, we've got some questions from the general public, which I'm going to read out, like Jeremy Corbyn, a man who's probably as likely as I am to be Prime Minister, but never mind. First question from John Hewitt, who's asking, how is construction going? Have you set up your team of contractors and others to get things going?
Extremely well. I mean, we finalised a significant equity placing in the summer, which is only 4 months ago, and in that time we've completely built the construction team. We've mobilised on site. We're well through the civil engineering and the civil works on site. All the concrete's been poured for the foundations, plant and the mill. But most importantly, the team's come together fantastically well. I mean, all the key roles for the construction of the project have been filled, and the team's gelling really well, working well with our contractors. And I'm pleased to say everything, touch wood at the moment, is on schedule and on budget.
Right, and Mr. Hewitt also asks, what are you most looking forward to in 2017, which I presume is referring to your work.
Well, I was going to say, I wonder how well he knows me, because I'm most looking forward to becoming a father for the first time.
Congratulations.
But obviously, look, next year's going to be a seminal year for Hummingbird. It's a hugely exciting year. There's a lot to happen. I mean, it's a huge undertaking, but I'm most looking forward to watching the first gold bar being poured. I mean, that's the purpose of it all.
Right, the second series of questions from Stephen L. Parsons, who questions senior debt. I've got senior debt and 3 questions after it. Would be reassuring to know that the funds are in place to finish the construction of Yanfolila, as well as having monies in place to carry Hummingbird forward through 2017.
Well, good question, and I understand where he's coming from. When we did the equity raising in the summer, we obviously raised a very significant portion of equity. So the amount of equity going into this project is a lot more than anybody else in the industry would put in terms of the balance of equity and debt. But your listener's quite right. There is a need for some further financing that we've said will be through debt financing. We have a number of options. We've been developing them over the last couple of months while we've been building the team. And we are very close to being able to sign and finalise a debt package. But I mean, until we've done that, your listener's quite right to raise it as a risk.
Okay. What's the infill drilling schedule for Gonka? Are there any other drills planned in the near term?
So Gonka is a high-grade deposit that is not in the current mine plan at Yanfolila, but it sits very close to the mill. There are other deposits as well that we'll look to augment mine life and bring into the plant once built. The answer to the question is, once we are confident we are under budget and we're going to deliver this project on time and under budget, we'll look to deploy that spare capital next year into bringing the Gonka resource up into a reserve and into the mine plan. But I think it's important to note we have already got 1 million ounces of resource at Yanfolila that is not in the mine plan, and we've been converting resources into reserves to feed into the plant at approximately a 50% conversion rate. So in itself, that would be another 5 or 6 years mine life.
Okay, I don't know if this ties in with what you said before, but has there been any vendor financing done for the Yanfolila project?
There has not been any vendor financing done for the Yanfolila project to date. All the funding going into the project is equity that Hummingbird shareholders have committed to the project. But we are, along with the debt package that we're looking to finalise shortly, the other material contract that we're looking to finalise shortly is the contract mining tender, and there may be options to for a component of that to be vendor financing and to offset some of the initial costs of the contract mining tender.
Okay, right. Series of questions from Alex Lee. What is the current arrangement with Kohler Gold? What do they have in terms of current and planned exploration?
So Kohler Gold, I mean, Hummingbird moved its non-core exploration licenses that we inherited with the mine when we bought it from Goldfields. They had a package of other exploration licenses. We have carved those off and we've put them into a new vehicle as a joint venture with Kohler Gold, who had their own exploration licenses in Mali and Senegal. And between the two packages of licenses, there's some extremely exciting prospects, and our concern was that we were so focused on building Yanfolila, we wouldn't have the bandwidth or the finances to do the exploration justice. Kohler Gold and Hummingbird have set up this company called Cora Gold. Cora Gold has a dedicated exploration management team, and it's in the process of financing that project. The commitments are all looking very good, and then it will be a standalone exploration play looking forward to bringing results to the market.
Right, you've got several areas of proven deposits outside the current plan for Yanfolila. Could you please talk a little bit about which exploration work has been done and what is left to do at Gonka and Kabaya?
So this is same question to the one about Gonka a minute ago. I mean, I think, so what I take from that is your listeners and readers there, they're concerned about the upside. What's next? We build the mine at Yanfolila, how's it going to get bigger or better? I think it's worth spending just a second explaining this to people. When we bought the project, we were going to finance it initially all with debt. So our focus was on showing the initial cash flows serviced that debt. We weren't looking to build out an exploration story to show upside and a huge mine life that would appeal to the capital markets. So it wasn't our strategy. Our strategy was to get built quickly. We have always been supremely confident that there is more gold there and that we will be able to discover it and bring it up into reserves and bring it into the mine plan. So I think Yanfolila is a great project. It's very robust, but the unknown value there is how much more gold is there. And all I can say at this stage is there's a lot. How much? We need to explore it, and we need to, as we get confident with the build, we need to start deploying more capital into the exploration programs and bringing those resources up the curve.
Right, okay. The results from the Malakila permit look very promising. What is next here?
Well, I mean, I guess it's same. It's part of the last question as well. I mean, Malakila does have promising results that we inherited from Goldfields, but it's one of many. I mean, we have promising results all over the tenements, and our geologists will be looking to prioritise those. And one of the priority criteria will be proximity to the mill. And Malakila is actually quite a long way from the mill, and there are more exciting exploration targets in terms of proximity to the mill. So the probability of making those ounces commercial quickly to have an impact on the economics and returns is greater if your target is nearer to the mill. So we will look to explore Malakila as quickly as possible, but it will have to be seen as part of a larger exploration strategy.
Right, what would be the effect of a hydroelectric plant in Liberia on the projected all-in cost per ounce for Dugbe?
Potentially significant. So the all-in cost at Dugbe in Liberia was just over $900 an ounce, and of that, over a third of the cost was power. So if a hydroelectric power solution could drop the power cost by 50%, which is the sort of numbers we're talking about, then your all-in sustaining capital cost for the project could be reduced by 10%.
Okay. Well, we've got are there any plans for further exploration in Liberia?
No imminent plans, but I mean, the beauty of Liberia is it's a province. I mean, there is so much exploration potential there. It's a question of capital allocation and discipline and focusing the limited financial resources we have on delivering cash flow at Yanfolila.
Right, final viewer question from Tony Robinson, presumably not the one who was in Blackadder, but someone with the same name. Will Hummingbird consider another equity funding to replace the $15 million Taurus bridging loan that comes due on December the 8th?
Well, what I would say to Tony is I would never rule out any options. You know, the game is about getting to the finish line and hopefully creating shareholder value. That said, I would be very strongly against any further equity dilution, and I firmly believe it's not necessary with the options that we have available. So my intent is no, but...
Okay. Right, the final question, which is maybe the most difficult to answer, ironically, what are your views on the gold prices in the short and medium term, given the hit they have taken since Mr. Trump started knocking on the door of the White House?
Well, I mean, what can I say to that? I mean, whatever your political
the wrong
views,
way, didn't it? I mean,
well, whatever your political views, we all thought if Trump got in, the gold price would go up. I mean, not just me, but every analyst I spoke to anywhere in the world thought, oh well, gold's going to have a fantastic ride, and the exact opposite has happened. So it goes to show, to be honest, nobody knows. So whatever I say, I would advise listeners not to listen to me.
The explanation is dollar strength on the basis that he would normalise interest rates. So that's why the dollar has gone. That's why gold has been crushed as a non-yielding asset. So there's been a change in there, but obviously it depends whether he does it or not. If he doesn't do it, then Then
I understand the argument, but then you would have to believe that if Donald Trump came through with all his promises, you get massive inflation and then the gold price would go up. So I believe short term you are seeing this weakness because of the promises he's making, and in the medium term you're going to see a massive rise in the gold price, and hopefully we're building into that. But what do I know? I mean,
on that note, Daniel Betts, CEO at Hummingbird Resources, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
On Share Views today.
Pleasure.